It's 9:30. This is what I cut down today. I'm chopping down that bastard. Took me a while. Handsaw through that, and like the whole thing just came down, and there's a lot of debris. Chopped it down a bit more and moved it. It was good fun, actually. Real good fun. Just chopping shit, sawing through shit. Yeah. I'll just do a little update while I'm on Smoko, on break, for like half an hour or so, maybe a bit less. So just do a little update while I'm down the creek, which is down there. Lovely little merry creek. Don't know what we're doing today. I'm just cutting shit, pruning shit, cutting up big logs and stuff, and so they can be loaded into the ute and then trucked off back to the depot and dumped. And then we'll be doing some mulching, which is always good fun, with a pitchfork, and then spreading it. Yeah, decent. I guess I wanted to touch a bit more upon what I've been reading about, and then because like the author Karen Horney was talking about like neurosis at work and how it affects your work. This is all right. Just a little open space. So yeah, talk a bit about that, and then I'll see what's what. Guess I'll go under this tree and sit down on my arse. Yesterday I saw a false black widow, and it did look fucking dangerous. It looked like the bee's knees. That little bastard did. The scariest looking spider, the most sinister looking spider I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm quite fascinated by them. Pretty cool. I haven't really seen much wildlife since I've been over here. So yeah, what else? What am I talking about? Yeah, so one point firstly is that, what else did I want to say about Nico? Something else, yeah, just general negativity. Like yesterday, I got back, he was looking out the window, like that, just after I got back, saying it's a shit day. I said, no, it's actually alright. He said, no it's not, you know it's a shit day. And I said, no, it's not raining, it's mild. And he's like, I said, it's just overcast, like it's now. And it was like, no, it's windy and it's going to start raining. And I don't know, I could feel for him, and maybe, he's come here, I've tried to empathise and be like, he moved into this house with me, we moved in together, with him thinking like we're going to be working together and working out together and whatnot. We've worked out twice together, but I said to him last night after he said I was being fucking boring, that we should do stuff earlier then, because it's going to be normal for me to start going to bed at like 8, half 8. I'm going to bed at like 9, and this morning I woke up feeling fucked, proper knackered. I had a coffee this morning at work. So yeah, I just crash in the afternoon, or when I get home in the evening or whatever. Yeah, I'm nearly done with that book. So yeah, I'll talk a bit about that. She talks about the resigned. There's like the self-effacing type, which is like basically you don't have any self-belief, or you don't want to do anything because you think like you're not good enough to do whatever. Or you feel like you shouldn't be ambitious or whatever. There's the like the ambitious type, self-expansive type, which is you feel like when you do anything, you're doing it perfectly, and that all that you do is right, and you can be very ambitious, sometimes perfectionistic. And then there's the resigned type, who steps back from life and steps back from goals and doesn't believe he can do these things, can do anything. I need to reread it, but when I was reading I was like, oh shit, yeah. And I'm basically the resigned type, and the resigned type basically just wants its freedom, because it's like you want to be free from everything, like free from expectations, external and self-imposed, mainly external I guess. And yeah, you don't want anything lapsed on you. You want all your free time so you can do your own thing, which generally leads to being very little, because when you start doing something, maybe you want to stop doing it because you feel like you're compelled to do it, or you feel the self-expectation nothing, which is basically me, right? Because I mean, I've quit jobs in the past because I felt like it was impinging upon my autonomy and my freedom, and yeah, whenever someone asks me to do something, I'm like, not whenever, but if someone's like says, "Oh, I want you to do this at this time," and if it's like repetitive or not just a one-off, I'll start to really disdain it and grow resentful really quickly. And that's just because I'm resigning. I want to resign. I don't want anything to coerce me this way or that way. I want all my own free time to do whatever I want, which ends up a lot of the time being nothing, because then I start feeling anxious because I don't feel like I want to do. It's not like I spontaneously want to do things when I have my free time. Sometimes I generally feel compelled to do them, like I should be doing them. And whenever I observe this should, I feel like I shouldn't be doing it because it's something that's neurotic, it's compulsive. You know, I got free time last night and I felt like I should be playing guitar rather than watching TV. But then I just reminded myself, wait, do I really want to play guitar now? No, because I'm tired and I've just spent nearly 2 hours reading, like studying this psychology book. Now I want to just completely relax. But I felt that niggling like should. And whenever I feel that should, it makes me go, whoa, I'm not going to do that now. And it's like, I want to be able to enjoy programming, and there are some ideas I have which would which would result in a pretty cool fucking program. And I can imagine making my own website and being fucking awesome and having a place for my writing and stuff. And I don't think it's just that I'm not prepared to put in the work, but I think it's that because I feel compelled to do it and I feel like I should be doing it, I just do not want to do it. And also when I am working, I've always got like an overbearing self-expectation of should be working faster, or you know, should be basically at my goal. I feel there may be some self-expansive traits in me here, because perhaps it's not just like, oh, I feel like I should be doing it, but it's like I feel like I should be at the end point, and I feel like I shouldn't have to put in all this work to get to the end point. Or whenever I'm putting in this work, when I am like programming, so when I'm sat there programming, I feel like I'm not being productive enough, and that I should just be able to do it easily, and I shouldn't just have to put in all of these hours of, you know, work, all these hours of small menial tasks. I feel like I should just be able to do it perfectly. So that could be my self-expansive drives, you know, my perfectionism, or whatever you want to call it, the belief that I should be perfect at whatever I do when it comes to stuff like that, I guess. Because when I'm working now, I don't do things perfectly, and maybe that's because, you know, I'm never really on time at work either. I'm always one of the last ones in, and maybe that's because I'm working for somebody else, maybe, and it's like an authority, and it's like I should be doing this, so I don't feel like I want to be doing it perfectly. Even though I'm not doing a bad job, like when I'm mulching, I think I'm one of the fastest mulchers. And when I'm cutting down trees, and I'm thoroughly enjoying that, so I'm doing it well. But yeah, that's about it, I guess. I don't know where I want to go in terms of like home life. Maybe I'll talk to Nico if he continues like being a bit negative. Just say like, hey dude, what's up? Are you a bit resenting me a bit? What's going on? I know I am being a bit neurotic with like the electricity and stuff and gas. I have been a little bit at the beginning, and Nico said the other night, oh, you're too frugal, and at some point you'll see the way to actually enjoy the money you're making and actually spending it. Because he's kind of been like, because I don't want to buy an espresso machine, and I'm not too bothered about buying weights. And I think that's just because I'm happy I don't really value those enough to buy them. But I don't know. Food thing. So I don't know if I'm losing any weight through this work. I think I'm eating quite a bit. Sometimes it's not like I'm eating out of anxiety as much. Sometimes it's just boredom at the weekends. but nevertheless, sometimes when I'm watching TV or even when I'm reading, like last night I was reading and I was being productive and I was studying, I felt a couple of times, I think I did a couple of times, just go and get like a small amount of peanut butter and just eat it, just because I felt like I should be doing something more productive, or like I should be playing guitar, or I should be programming. Very odd. And yeah, I think I would have, and also I think Nico's quite negative in the sense that I don't know, it's almost like he makes himself out to be perfect. I mean, like last night he was saying how he's fat, and he's got like a six-pack now, and he's pretty not shredded, but he's got a really fucking good body, and he's like, I've never been this chubby, and he's just got like little bits of fat on his belly, and I'm just like, yeah, that it could be. You could say, yeah, that's nothing, that's just him being silly, but I think the implications of that in terms of self-expectation are a bit like, you know, and yeah, and I guess like he liked one of my Goodreads statuses, which was like on porn and brain addiction. I don't think he liked it to be like, oh, well done, you know, it wasn't like a like which was motivated by a positive source. It wasn't like, oh, well done, you've recognised you've got an addiction or you've got a problem and you want to resolve it. Because when I told him to put in this pin for this detoxify, which is like a VPN to block any porn and any bad sites and shit, and I asked him to put in the pin so I couldn't turn it off, he like laughed a bit, and I said, what? And he was like, I just think it's like kind of weak. And I said, yeah, well, it is a weakness, but I'm not perfect, you know, I have my addictions, I have my bad sides. So even though he was correct in saying that it was a weakness, there was no recognition of the fact that I'd taken responsibility for it and was trying to do something about it. So, you know, and instead of saying like, oh yeah, you know, I understand that you want to go to bed early and therefore have a good day at work because you won't be tired, and then recognising I want to save money because I want to do a lot next year for myself, he's like more selfish and just being like, he's being more selfish, and therefore instead saying like, oh, you're being fucking boring. So yeah, I guess now I'm living with him more, I'm spending a lot more time with him, like truer colours are coming out a bit, I guess, and potentially that's just because he's not in a good place, because again, as I said, he expected us to be living together and doing a lot together, and that expectation hasn't been met, so now we might be a bit resentful. Nevertheless, this is what it currently is like for him, this is how he currently is, and it's not fantastic. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll just have to remember to not take his projections too personally and not conform to his projections, conform to his expectations of me, because I could start going to bed really late, having, you know, helping him have a good time, and that sounds gay, and then myself feeling shit the next day and whatever. That's just not sustainable, and I'll start resenting him. So I just need to keep doing what I'm doing and not taking his stuff personally, and putting forth ideas of doing things earlier in the day when I get home from work. Yeah, it's like a fucking relationship. Yeah, 9:45. Get back to it soon. Not a lot else I want to say. I don't think. I'm in a decent mood now. As I say, I'm at work. I'm enjoying it. Physically labouring. It's good shit. I'll pause for a sec. One of the final things is that I think I mentioned it in another video recently. Karen Horney says about how one common trait in all these types of neurotic states, you know, the self-effacing, self-expansive, self-expanding, and the resigning type, is a quality of unlovableness. So these can have various reasons. There are various reasons, but the one that was pertinent to me was the state of having enough self-contempt and self-hatred to result in having the belief that because you're not good, because you have these negative traits, then you are unlovable. And yeah, and it's strange because sometimes I'll fantasize or I'll think about the idea of being intimate and whatever, and I don't think that intimacy will resolve my conflicts and stuff, but I definitely have that idea in my mind that it will. And yeah, I don't think it's just like, oh, you just need a shag and you'll be better. Those are very simplistic, surface level things. I think my idea of like a relationship and stuff, and just intimacy, I guess, is very pedestalized. And maybe I think that's because it's something I can never have. It's just a fantasy that'll never be realised. And you can say like, oh, you know, when you quit watching porn for 60 days and stop masturbating for that long, or however long it was, I didn't think sexually, I didn't have any fantasies and stuff, and I felt like I was being super productive. I don't think that I was like resolving the issue, it was just being distracted from the issue. And that's not exactly a negative thing, that I was distracting myself, so I was being productive and I was not masturbating and doing things that I see as quite positive, generally, even though they may have been neurotically motivated. The issue that was still there, it was still being harboured, you know, the issue of unlovability. Yeah, I just wanted to make this update. I think it was quite a productive update. Now I'm like quite lucid, I guess, because I've been working.